The trading community you're part of is stopping you from reaching your full potential as a trader. Not knowing what I'm about to share with you in this video will jeopardize your trading future. You just need to follow exactly what I share in this masterclass. At the end of this video, I share a powerful mindset technique that you've never seen on YouTube before and a free tool. Both of those together are going to help you have the most successful 2024 possible. Traders, beware of the cult mentality. Now, it goes without saying that there are true benefits and advantages to being part of trading communities. For example, a trading community is an opportunity to learn from a particular mentor who spent years developing and studying a particular strategy, and you get the opportunity to stand on their shoulders, and you get the opportunity to learn that strategy in a shorter period of time than that mentor did to create their own strategy. So one of the biggest advantages of trading communities is the ability to quickly absorb the knowledge of a mentor and learn a particular strategy quicker than it took that mentor to learn. Another one of the great advantages is this sense of being in a community and sense of belonging. You know, this trading journey can be quite lonely and it can be quite isolating, and you can get a lot of challenge and resentment from other people in your life. So having a trading community there can foster a sense of belonging to a family or to a tribe or to a unique group of individuals. And it's that feeling and that sense of community and belonging that human beings crave and require on their journey throughout life. So another one of the great benefits of being part of a trading community is that sense of belonging. And finally, another great advantage of trading communities is this ability to build lifelong relationships. And I've been through many trading communities in my life, and each of these benefits have been true for me as a trader. And some of my best friends in life right now are from trading communities, and I met them in trading communities, and we've fostered a relationship which started in a trading community, believe it or not. So I'm coming into this lecture and this masterclass fully aware of the great advantages and benefits of trading communities. I've been part of many myself, and I've reaped the rewards of being part of many trading communities. However, there are also drawbacks and there are disservices to trading communities. And I think the mass idea in the trading industry right now is polarized, where traders are falling into a very dangerous trap, and they're becoming very, very biased, and they're developing this almost cult-like mentality being part of a community. So what I wanted to do in this particular mastermind is share the other side of trading communities and open your mind to some pitfalls and some disadvantages and some risks of being part of trading communities. Because as well as me reaping the rewards of trading communities, I've also felt the effects and the drawbacks and the risks of trading communities. And I want to share some of those with you now. So trading communities are great and there are benefits to them to be reaped, but there are also drawbacks and disservices to trading communities that you need to be aware of. The first one here, one of the most common traps that many traders are falling into nowadays, and this is very, very, very evident, at least for me, what I'm seeing with a lot of students that are coming into my programs that are working with me, is that they have this false sense of confidence in their strategy and in their mentor. And yes, because you feel part of this group and you feel this sense of belonging, what can sometimes happen is you think that your trading mentor and the leaders in your particular group are all knowing and all understanding, and they can predict the market and they can predict the next moves in the market. So we build this false sense of confidence and this false sense of assurance that if I do what they do, I'm going to be profitable too. But the truth is, even a very profitable mentor or a trader that's been trading a style for a very long period of time, they still can't predict what the market's about to do next. And it's important to recognize that even a very knowledgeable trading mentor doesn't know it all. And it's very important to recognize that you don't want to fall into this false sense of confidence and ability in your trading strategy and in your trading mentor. Because the strategy you're trading right now may have risks and disadvantages and shortfalls that you have to be aware of, And your trading mentor, just like any human being out there, of course, is not going to be able to predict what the market's about to do next 100% of the time. And that's important to understand. The other drawback here is that traders build such a sense of this cult-like mentality that their community is the only way. It's the only way to a profitable strategy. It's the only option to be a profitable trader. And you almost see battles and conflicts between different communities. And I wouldn't even be surprised if some of them jump into the comments below this video, because what happens is they attach so much of their identity to a particular strategy or a particular style or a particular mentor. And believe me when I say this, I've been there too. I've been guilty of this myself. And what happens is that when people challenge that style or that community, it feels to that individual as if they're challenging a part of themselves, a part of their identity. And they become very reactive to that, and they become very emotional. So what tends to happen when you build your identity around one particular trading style is that you block your mind from additions and alternatives. You block your mind from alternative ways to trade the market, which may be viable, and you block your mind from any sort of alternative strategies or refinements to your strategy or different ways to view the market. And in that situation, you're very, very vulnerable, because the market may change, the market may evolve, the market may go into a different cycle where the current strategy you're trading may not be very profitable. And it's important to recognize that just as the market is malleable and it moves and it adapts, so too as traders, we need to be malleable and adapt. We have to be like water, and we have to be adaptable and formless. But the more and more we tie our identity towards one particular strategy or one particular group, and we become very rigid with that, we kill our ability to be adaptable, and we kill our ability to adapt when the market adapts too. And as a result, as traders, we put ourselves in a very vulnerable situation. And because of this false sense of confidence in a strategy, it's almost like we become you become very good and very recognized in one particular community, but you have to be careful that you're not becoming a big fish in a small pond. And you have to be careful not to wrap too much of your identity around one particular strategy and think that if I become like this mentor, then that's the end, that's the ceiling. You have to be aware that there are other styles, there are alternatives, there are other ways to trade the markets out there which are very viable and would be to your advantage to understand and learn. Because one of the biggest drawbacks of trading communities is we tend to stunt our growth. And I'm going to throw this analogy out there. It's like going to primary school, which here in Australia is, you got primary school, high school, university. It's like going to your first schooling and never moving beyond your first schooling. It's like getting comfortable in primary school and feeling this false sense of confidence in your abilities as a human being now to conquer the world, and never moving on because you're comfortable and you feel included and you feel safe in primary school, never going on to high school or university. Now, that analogy may seem a little silly, but if you want to have a great understanding of the markets, then recognizing that just being part of one community and adhering just to that one ideology and just sticking to that for the rest of your life is very much like just going to primary school and never moving on to greater understandings and greater awarenesses in the market. Okay? So just to bring a little bit more balance to this argument, yes, trading communities are great. They provide great insights. They provide platforms to stand on top of. However, think of your trading communities like chapters. It's important to recognize that you want to move on to a chapter. You want to learn as much as you can from that particular mentor or that teacher, and then move on to learn far and wide, learn a different style, a different way to view the markets. And even though you may not trade all the different styles, it's important to broaden your awareness and understand that there are different ways to trade the markets. And it's important to understand what other people are doing, because you can also use that to your advantage as a trader as well. Okay, now there are caveats here. That doesn't mean that you jump from strategy to strategy before you even master a particular style. It's important to recognize that a new community is going to provide a new level of insights, a new strategy, a new way to view the markets. It's important to study that in depth, and it's important to gain a great understanding of that particular style. But my point here is you don't want to become too attached to that individual style, and recognize that even while trading that individual style, you don't want to be attached to this is the only way to trade the markets. So learn a style in detail, study it, become obsessed with that particular style when you're learning it so you can absorb as much information as you can, but recognize at the back of your mind that there are still risks and drawbacks and disservices to that style. It's not the holy grail. There are different ways to view the markets. There are other important insights that are still to be learned on your trading journey. Now, the psychological bias that many traders fall into when we're talking about this cult-like mentality and this whole idea of my trading community is the best and there's nothing else like it is confirmation bias. Very few traders are ready to let go of a reassuring lie for an inconvenient truth. Very few traders are willing to keep their minds open to recognize there are other ways to view the markets, and that, most importantly, there are drawbacks and shortfalls to their own strategy that they have to be aware of. What I want to do in the next little part of this video is share with you exactly how I would coach you through this particular situation. I'm going to assume you've been studying a particular trading style or an understanding of a particular trading system. You've been learning from one mentor, maybe two, and you have dedicated your time and energy to mastering this one style. I'm going to share with you exactly what I would encourage you to do if you're in that particular situation. So do this. This is how I'm going to encourage you to treat your current trading community and any other trading community you become part of. Now, you want to learn far and wide. I encourage traders to become part of trading communities and study from that particular mentor. Again, that mentor is there to be respected. They put a lot of time, energy, and effort to understanding that particular strategy and then putting it in a very easy way to communicate to you so you can take it on board and you can implement it into your strategy. They're there to be respected, but don't get attached to that particular style or that particular mentor. Learn far and wide. Have understandings of multiple different strategies. Treat your mentors as human beings. They're not all-knowing. They've got drawbacks, they've got shortfalls, they've got their own biases that they're dealing with as human beings. It's important to recognize that yes, they're there to be respected. They put a lot of time, energy, and effort into developing their craft, but they're still human beings at the end of the day. They're vulnerable to the same mental biases you and me are vulnerable to, and that they're at the mercy of the markets just like anybody else. Use the market as your ultimate teacher. The market is the only thing that's going to be able to tell you whether the way you trade that strategy is profitable or not. So if you're currently part of a community right now, learning from a particular mentor, what I encourage you to do is you download the free trading plan checklist that I have in the link in the description. That trading plan checklist includes every single component that you need in the trading plan, from your entry, your management, to your risk management, all the minute details in between. And when you're studying that particular style, what you want to be doing is getting an understanding of that particular trading style, back testing it to fill in that trading plan template. What you're doing is you're getting all the key necessary information that you need to be able to trade the market. You're figuring out, how do I enter with that style? You figure out, how am I managing with that style? You figure out how you're getting out of the position with that style. You're figuring out how much you risk on each individual trade. And you're filling in that trading plan template by back testing the market. What you're doing is you're developing your edge with that particular trading style and that particular trading strategy. And you obviously want to back test a large sample space of data, hundreds of trades, to see whether that trading style is profitable or not. Now, the issue here is that traders stop there. They then find that their trading style is profitable, and then they come part of the community and they tell everybody how profitable it is and how successful they're going to be. And this is confirmation bias, and they continue to run the same story that everybody else in that community is running. In that situation, you're becoming vulnerable, you're becoming blinded to the other side of the strategy. So I encourage you not to stop there. Now that you have your trading plan developed, what I want you to do is go and backtest again. But instead of backtesting to prove why this strategy is right and continues to be right, I want you to flip a little switch in your head, and now I want you to backtest trying to disprove the strategy. Trying to find every single place the strategy does not work. Trying to find every shortfall and every risk and every disservice and every drawback of that particular strategy, and try and find exactly where it doesn't work and be skeptical about that strategy. And what you're doing here is what is called a double blind test in science, right? You're not only finding evidence to support why it's profitable, but you're finding reasons why it won't work. And when you're going and doing this second round of backtesting to find every single reason why your strategy won't work, the double blind test here is helping you break confirmation bias. You're seeing the other side of your strategy. Now, at first, this may be difficult to do because you've paid for this education, you're invested in this education, but I guarantee you it's better to do it now and find out the risks and drawbacks and disservices of your strategy as opposed to waiting when you're funded or when you're trading larger amounts of capital and taking the losses then. So what you're doing through that second round of backtesting is you're finding all the holes in the strategy. You're gonna have a list of them. You're gonna understand that, all right, maybe in a range bound market, this doesn't perform well, or when we're counter trend, this doesn't perform well, or during high volatility news, this doesn't perform well, or you're finding very specific situations, or Aussie dollar doesn't perform well with this strategy, or the indices don't move as the currencies do, and I can't really trade this strategy here, and you're finding every single reason your strategy is not going to be profitable and it won't work and it can't work, and you're gonna have a list there. And then for each of those drawbacks and disservices, you want to plan alternatives or contingencies or things you can do to mitigate that. For example, if you find certain pairs don't perform well with your strategy, don't trade those pairs or risk less on those pairs. Or if you find that when you're trading counter trend to the higher time frames, the strategy doesn't perform well. So in those situations, you either don't trade those situations or you risk less. Right? So you're using foresight to figure out everything that could go wrong with this strategy, and you're putting contingencies and processes and plans in place. So you've just taken this strategy that everybody idolizes and everybody thinks is all profitable and very, very successful. You run a double blind test on it. You found the other side of it, the risks, which those traders will eventually find out, but you're finding out in foresight, and you're prepared and planned for them. Now, if your trading strategy survives that double blind test, then yes, it's a profitable strategy and it's a strategy that you want to trade. But recognize there's no strategy out there that's the holy grail, that's going to be profitable all the time, that's going to be profitable in all market conditions. Every strategy has benefit and drawback, just like anything in life. The best traders are aware of the drawbacks and the disservices of their strategy, and they're planning and preparing for those situations to ensure that as a trader, they're the most aware they can possibly be, and they're making the wisest, most objective decisions in that moment. Okay? So in summary, trading communities have advantages, a great sense of community, a platform which you can learn a particular strategy from. But trading communities also have disservices. It can foster this cult-like mentality, this feeling of I'm part of something that's all profitable, or this false sense of confidence in your own trading ability, a strategy, or a mentor. It's very, very important to understand the risks, the drawbacks and disservices of the community you're in, and also the specific trading style you've learned in that community. The traders who can become aware of that, and the traders who can plan contingencies and risk manage those particular situations, are the traders who are most aware and are the traders who build consistent profitability into the future. This is an example of how a very successful trader would approach a trading community and how they would go in there unattached to a particular style or to a particular mentor, learn far and wide, learn everything they can, and use the information they've learned in that trading community to better themselves as a trader, to better themselves as a human being. Now, I promised you a freebie and I promised you an insight that you haven't seen on YouTube before. Just to make it clear, the insight that you've never seen on YouTube before is becoming aware of the other side of your strategy. Running the double blind, doing that second round of backtesting to disprove your strategy. Not use confirmation bias to prove why your strategy is profitable, but to disprove it. And if your strategy holds up against that disproving, then you know you got gold. You got something that's going to be profitable. Maybe not all the time, but it's going to be profitable. And the freebie is that free 6-figure trading plan template that I've left in the description. Use that, have that by your side when you're doing the first round of backtesting so you can organize your strategy into a step-by-step checklist, into a step-by-step workflow to ensure that you can actually consistently execute on the strategy you're studying and learning from that community. Okay? If you got value from this particular video, comment in the comments below what you've learned. Share this video with your trading friends and your trading communities, ironically, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next video.